Welcome to my underground lair. You're just in time. Enjoy the show.
This is the G-Spot. I am Crazy G. I'm back once again on this beautiful Friday. Right out of the gate, we're going right to the phones. Ian Kenny, the vocalist for the band Birds of Tokyo, is on the phone. Hello, Ian.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm really well, thanks.
Thanks for taking the time to be here on the G-Spot. Again, welcome, and how are you?
I'm really well, man. I'm in LA at the moment. Speaking of good weather, today's an absolute cracker. I think it's 34 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's quite warm.
Well, don't ask me because I don't know either, man. Birds of Tokyo are blowing up everything in their path. For those who may not know of Birds of Tokyo, can you tell us a little bit about the band?
Yeah, well, we come from Australia. We've been a band for a number of years, and, we've been lucky. We've had some great sets on our home turf. And in the last sort of 12 months, we've managed to sort of find an audience here in America, and, we've had a couple of our songs taken to radio here, which has allowed us to get over here and actually live here and commit to the US for a while. And we started touring, and our record came out, I believe 3 days ago. So, it's all kind of rolling, man. It's all going really well.
The band's most recent release, March Fires, is making ferocious strides with many around the globe, including your home country. What went into making the CD, and what, if anything, did you do differently than your past CDs?
I think this time we were just trying to push the sort of sonic landscape of the band wider, make things, just push things wider sonically and make it a broader sort of piece. I mean, we come from a sort of rock background, but as this is our fourth record, and as we make records, the band keeps changing, keeps evolving, which is ideally what we wanted every time. So it's it's a bit more textured, this one, and we're kind of shedding the rock. No, we're not shedding the rock. I don't think we'll ever do that. We're finding new ways to do it. So it's really exciting, man, and we're getting great results. Like, the band's so happy with where we're at the moment.
I've been checking some of the stuff online out, and this CD is doing a lot of damage all over the place. One of the first singles released, Lanterns, is making a huge impact. Did you expect this from this track, and how did you approach this song in the beginning?
I don't know what we expected from the song, but I can say that when we were writing it, there was something about it that we just kept coming back to, and we're like, oh man, we've got to keep a close ear on this piece. There's something resonating here. It's really speaking to us. So when you strike something like that, you kind of think maybe it's going to work outside the band. Maybe it's going to go the distance, So it took a long time though, man. It was over 12 months until we sort of finished that song. Like, we put a lot of work into it just to get it right. And it's not a complicated song. It's a very simple song, but, in the end we got it right. So it's been great, man. It's been taken to radio over here, and people are really taking on,
This Fire, which is one of the other singles released, is also an energetic jolt that grabs you and sucks you into it. What went into the thought process with that track?
The whole idea behind that song was to have this very forward, sort of moving, sort of fuel fire song that had this repetitive chant, this fire that just keeps kind of hammering down through the chorus. And the whole idea of the song, to basically burn what we know, burn it to the ground and to start up again, which is what we did in March Fires. That was very much of the process of the record. And the video clip to that song, This Fire, it's a really weird clip. We had this director make this life-size diorama, which is about 30 foot square. It was huge, with all these different artists there's 12 different artists who, they all did a section each from all different parts of country, and it looked beautiful. It's just a masterpiece. And then we basically set fire to it all and burnt it to the ground. It's pretty insane.
It sounds like you had some fun doing it too.
Oh yeah, you gotta enjoy these processes, man.
The success that March Fires is receiving is enormous. What do you think has attributed to such an overwhelming response thus far?
I think it's just such a pleasure to be an artist in a band these days. You can get heard so easily, and you can get your music out to people. Like, the whole idea why we started band is to sort of speak to people in the language we know, like music, right? So just to get connected with people. And these days, it's so many avenues to actually spread that as wide and far as we can. And, it's our fourth record. Dare I say we're getting a handle on it. I think we're getting better at being a band. We're getting better at writing songs. So just a combination of many things, man,
I have to agree with you. And I'm not saying you weren't any good to begin with, but I've noticed, because I believe I checked out all your stuff and I compared it to March Fires, and you can just tell. And that's what I like about doing what I do, because in a lot of instances you can see how the artist grows, and it's really cool to hear it. It's not just about the artist growing, but the music too. So I think it's totally awesome. The band recently relocated to LA, as you stated earlier. What has that been like for you guys?
It's been very good for us. We've been here for nearly 2 years. We moved here because we wanted to come over and be located here and be on ground when it came to doing shows, when it came to doing tours, and our label is here, so we have a house here, we have our studio here. So we've been living here and working here for quite some time, and man, it's a beautiful place to live and work. I mean, we're surrounded by great weather and like-minded people and artists, and there's such a hub for that sort of thing. So we're very lucky in that way, but I don't know, it's great. I think we've been writing some new stuff, and I think because of where we are, it's having an effect. I think our environment is having an effect on what we're doing at the moment, so all that is feeling very good, and it's a very nice place to live and work, man.
Let me be one of many who have already welcomed you, but welcome to America. I know it's 2 years.
Thank you very much.
I know it's 2 years later, but hey.
It's a big country, so we'll take it as it comes, man,
Your first American television appearance was on Jimmy Kimmel Live. How excited and or nervous were you guys to do this?
We were both. We were very excited and quite nervous. It was kind of the first debut for TV in America. And usually the first of anything kind of gets you nervous, which is a good thing. I think nerves is what keeps you on edge and keeps performance up. I mean, if those nerves ever go away, maybe there's something wrong, But it was great. It was a really good experience. And watching those guys, the Kimmel production crew, actually put that show together, and they do that 5-6 times a week or whatever it is. It's pretty incredible.
Birds of Tokyo will be starting an upcoming U.S. tour with Codaline in a couple weeks, eventually hitting the House of Blues in Boston on November 3rd. How excited is the band, and what can the fans expect from this tour and this show?
Yeah, we're quite excited to get out. We haven't actually played Boston yet, so this tour gets us to Boston, so it's always great getting to a new city, man. We get to meet new crowds and new fans. So, and there's always a certain sort of, again, these firsts we were just talking about. I guess there's a certain thing where you really want to make the most of it. You want to enjoy it, and you want to sort of prove your point and the whole lot. It's going to be good. And the House of Blues, across country, those venues are renowned for being such stellar venues. So we're looking forward to it. I'm
going to try to make that show. I would definitely like to see you guys, because your music is very interesting, and believe it or not, I got a lot of different vibes off of it, and I really like it. Again, I tell everybody, I love heavy metal, but I'm not, I'm open to a lot of different genres. It's really cool that you can have, or an individual can have, such a wide, vast range of music. I even like some classical Vivaldi too, so it runs the gamut. It's definitely different. It's very enjoyable. It kind of reminds me of Pink Floyd in some aspects. It brings you in, it entices you, and it keeps you in that song. That's exactly what you guys do. Is there anything you'd like to say to the fans of Birds of Tokyo?
Of course, yeah. Our record came out on the 30th of September. It's a digital release, so if anybody has heard anything from the band, if you only heard 1 or 2 songs, I guess I encourage you to check out the latest record, because there's a lot going on there, and you'll find a lot more than what you've just heard. And it would be, and seeing the band too in a live arena, it's a slightly different thing. So come check it out if you can, and it would be great to see some people around the country, man. That's why we're here, From the studio to live, a totally different atmosphere. My last question for you: what else is in the works for Birds of Tokyo? Not just with the rest of 2014, but also into 2015. We've been writing. We spent the last 3 months writing sort of blocks. So we're kind of getting new material together. The songs are starting to come together. I'd like to tell you more about that, because I always like talking about it, but to be honest, it's kind of still fairly early days of what's going on. But we should have some of that stuff demoed by the end of the year. We might start our producer talks at the end of the year, early next year, and then, we should be hitting a studio early next year. There'll be more shows in America. We've got to get back at some point to Australia to do festivals and some touring there, but I think that will be a fairly brief, jump back to Australia, and then we'll be back in the US sort of early next year to continue working on, and then we'll have a release in hand. So looks like 2015 is going to be busy again, man.
Well, that's awesome for you guys, man, and I'm glad to hear this because I really did enjoy listening to March Fires and, your style of music. I know I've heard some of your past stuff, and I actually reported some of your past stuff along with March Fires, at the station here. It really is. It's incredible stuff. Great job. Thank you. Ian Kenny, vocalist for Birds of Tokyo. And I also want to thank our sponsor, NewEnglandConcertReviews.com. Thanks, man. Rock and roll. I wish you the best. I wish the band the best. Good luck on this tour, and I can't wait to hear new stuff from you.
Thanks very much, brother. We, on behalf of the band, we really appreciate the support, man. So thanks again.
Anytime, man.
All right, man.
All right, we'll talk soon, hopefully.
For sure.
Peace.
See you, buddy.
That was Ian Kenny, the vocalist for Birds of Tokyo. We're going to be playing some coming up in a little bit, but right now, this is from Machine Head, Now We Die, right here on WSUR.